What's up everybody? My name's Matt and today I'm going to show you the top 5 ways I like to use Serato Sample to flip samples that I found in Splice. Here's my beat, hope you guys like it, and I'll show you how I made it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I load up my Serato Sample first right away. My favorite plugins. Let's put that there. Now I'll pull up Splice, and I got a couple little different loops and sounds that I'm going to work with today. So the first one I want to work with is this Lo-Fi Melodic Dollars for Bells sample from the Bedroom Beats and Lo-Fi Hip Hop. Lovely sample. I'm just going to find that in the enclosing folder and then I'll drag that into Serato Sample. Boom. Right out the gate, one of my favorite things about Serato Sample is it tells you the key of the song. So it tells me that it's an F sharp minor and it syncs the whole song to the project tempo. So that's number 1 on my list of top things I love about Serato Sample with Splice. It just automatically makes using samples fast and fun. So this is originally at 90 beats per minute. My project's at 150 beats per minute. And now it's already synced in BPM. So now I can just use one of my other favorite features about Serato Sample, which is the auto set functions here. So I'm going to use the set slicer, and I'm going to set the beat value to 2 beats and make sure my playhead's where I want it. Press set slicer, and now that I've set slicer, it's given me all these different pads, all in divisions of 2 beats on my keyboard. So I'm going to start my whole beat off with just that. Let's go. Let's turn that metronome on real quick. And then I'll just edit that MIDI. Select all, quantize that up, press legato, and let's make that a nice 4-bar loop. Cool, so that's really simple. Number 2 of the favorite things I love about Serato Sample is that I can also easily pitch down the whole sample a full octave without any degradation in the sound. And that's because it's got the pitch and time algorithm working in Serato Sample, which is kind of Serato's bread and butter. So if I just put a cue in the same spot and then just pitch that down, 12 notes, I get that halftime feel. Just sounds great in Serato Sample though. There's no audio problem at all. So I'm going to record that in as well. We'll loop that up. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add some hi-hats. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab Serato Sample and I'm going to drag it in to MIDI track number 2. And I'm just going to pull from the drums. I've got Decap's Drums That Knock Volume 9 from Splice. So I'm just going to go to the hi-hats here and I'm going to choose a hi-hat. I like that one, so I'll just drag that in there. And on this one, I'm just going to set the same thing, set 4 different cue points. All in the same place. I'm going to leave this one as it is. And then on the second one, I'm going to pitch this one down 7 semitones. And then this one, I'll pitch up. And on the last one, I'm actually going to go in here. And this is one of the cool things about Serato Samples. I can just move this cue around and then I can click this reverse button. Super easy. So now I've got 4 hi-hats, all the same hi-hat, but just different pitches and different parameters using these parameters here. So each one of these has their own individual parameters. So that's really, really, really sick about Serato Sample. Actually, let's record some in. We'll go down to the MIDI, and let's edit up some MIDI. Let's pull out the little writing tool here. Zoom in a bit. Just make sure all these are quantized. And we'll loop this too. Cool, so I'm pretty happy with that little pattern here. And now I want to add some actual drums. So I'm going to go into my drum rack, and I'll pull out my drums that knock. Drums that I've already got here. Just a real basic pattern here. Let's just put that in. We'll just take out the kicks on the first one. So we've got our drums done. The next thing I want to do is add a bass. So I'm going to go to Serato Sample again. And from Splice, I'm going to pull up the Boy Wonder 808. Just to show that in the closing folder. Drag that into Serato Sample. So number 4 on my top 5 things about Serato Sample with Splice, I'm going to use the keyboard mode. So I just click the keyboard button, and now I have keyboard on all of the keys on my keyboard. So let's just go up an octave. And this one's already in F sharp minor, so I don't have to worry about pitching it. Turn this up a little bit. We'll record this in. And this brings me to number 5 on my top favorite things to do with Serato Sample and Splice, is this new glide button in Serato Sample. It allows you to pitch and glide your bass lines. So check this out. In the MIDI, I'm just going to tidy this up. As long as I have this glide turned up, you'll hear the notes bend. And just figure out how much you want it to bend, the speed of it. And now in the MIDI area, you just need to make sure that your note sits below the next note so that it has time to bend up. So let's hear how that sounds. And let's do it on the octave here. Let's hear how that sounds with the beat. It gives it a little extra flavor, you know, real easy. I'm just going to loop that up, and we'll hear how that sounds with the next sequence as well. And one more thing I really love about Serato Sample with Splice is it's especially good with vocals. So I'm going to pull in another version of Serato Sample. And then I'll go to Splice again. And I have this really cool vocal sample. So let's pull that in to Serato Sample real quick. There we go. And I'm just going to press any key on my keyboard. Now the only thing is, this isn't right in key, so this isn't going to sound very good with the track. But because Serato Sample tells me what key it is, I can easily detune the whole sample to match the sample that I'm working with in the project key that I'm in. So I'm just going to pitch this up to F sharp minor, which is the same as the sample and coincidentally the bass. So let's just record that in now. Cool. So let's loop that up. So yeah, there you have it. That's the beat I made using Serato Sample and Splice. And that's the top 5 ways I like to use Serato Sample to manipulate the sounds that I get from Splice and make beats with them. So yeah, if you like what you heard, make sure you please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and let me know if there's any other ways that you like to use Serato Sample in the comments. All right, peace.